The government has backtracked on allowing 3 ministers to decide on fast-track approvals, giving the power to an expert panel. The tennis club where a person was killed say they've lost a beautiful soul as the hunt continues for their killer. Prosecutors confirm a manslaughter investigation's underway into the sinking of the Superyacht Bayesian that was skippered by a New Zealander. And in sport, another America's Cup yacht doesn't make it to the finish line. There's too much tech to blame. No mai haere mai, ma loilele, welcome to 3 News. After a public outcry, the government has backed away from giving 3 ministers the power to decide on fast-track approvals for major infrastructure projects. The projects will instead be referred to an expert panel with environmental and Māori representation. But as Zane Small reports, conservationists are alarmed that mining projects make up 5% of fast-track applications.
It was controversial from the beginning, starting with a hekoi to the steps of Parliament in May. The following month, 20,000 marched through central Auckland.
Are you feeling ready to stand up for nature?
Opposition to the coalition government's fast-track approvals bill, a law that would give 3 ministers, including Shane Jones and Chris Bishop, the power to greenlight projects of national significance. The proposed law attracted 27,000 submissions, and today People Power triumphed.
We've listened to the concerns of submitters that they wanted the panel to be the final decision maker.
National's coalition agreement with New Zealand First included a commitment to establish a fast-track consenting process with a referral by ministers. But now Chris Bishop alone as Infrastructure Minister will refer projects to an expert panel with environmental and Māori representation, and they will have the final say.
Well, there's a difference between a campaign politician and a member of cabinet, and collective responsibility means that I'm adopting the Shakespearean approach. All's well that ends well.
So far, 384 applications have been made for fast-track approval. Housing and urban development projects make up 40%. Renewable energy projects 18% and 5% are mining.
The vast majority of these projects were not mining, so these historical hobbits who thought to deride me and denigrate the bill because it was a fast track purely for mining have proven to be inaccurate.
But Greenpeace says it's potentially more than a dozen new mining projects without consideration of the environmental impact.
The expert panels themselves are bound by the criteria in the bill, and currently they don't include environmental criteria.
In his view, the bill is still flawed, and the Green resistance will continue.
OK, Zane, what's the reaction been like so far?
Well, reactions from the political opposition are in, and Labour and the Greens largely reflect the concerns of Greenpeace, saying there just aren't enough environmental protections in this legislation. And the Greens are even warning companies thinking about taking advantage of the fast-track bill that under a change of government they could lose their consent, possibly without compensation. But of course the government says they've addressed the main concern of the public here and they want to get on with progressing these infrastructure projects. The bill still needs to finish off the select committee process at Parliament, and the government hopes to have it passed into law by the end of the year. And it will then be up to those expert panellists to have the final say.
Zane Small, tēnā koe. Blockhouse Bay Tennis Club in West Auckland has described the man killed on its property yesterday as a beautiful soul. Police are still hunting for the person responsible, who they say may have fled on foot. Leighton Hakel has more.
A large police presence remains at the Blockhouse Bay Tennis Club as investigators comb the extensive crime scene. They were here with metal detectors searching through the club's grounds, which is still cordoned off, as officers try to piece together just what unfolded here yesterday morning. It was at around 11:30 when police were called to the club, where a man was critically injured by another person. He died at the scene. In an email to members, the Blockhouse Bay Tennis Club wrote, "It is with a very heavy heavy heart that we can confirm that we lost a beautiful soul at our club. This person was present at the club almost every day working from his couch. He was truly a sincere person who was always happy to talk to everyone. Police are still hunting for the offender, who they say may have left on foot. They're asking for information from the public, including any footage or CCTV from the Blockhouse Bay area, or if anyone had noticed suspicious activity. Police say they will keep a heavy presence in the area while investigating what they are calling an absolute tragedy.
An apparent conspiracy theorist has injured at least 4 people, including a police officer, in a knife attack in Sydney. Witness Steve Mace, the chairman of the Cronulla Sharks League Club, said a man who'd crashed into another car was repeatedly stabbing a woman passenger. Mace said another man who tried to intervene was slashed from his shoulder to his belly. He said the attacker left the car and was telling everyone that it was a big conspiracy about the jab and that they were all being followed. The 55-year-old suspect is now in custody. Italian authorities investigating the fatal sinking of a superyacht off Sicily say they're considering the charges of culpable shipwreck and manslaughter. The Kiwi captain of the Bayesian, James Cutfield, will not be required to remain in Sicily, but authorities have requested survivors, including Kiwi lawyer Ayla Ronald, provide the maximum degree of cooperation. It's now believed the sinking of the Bayesian wasn't caused by a tornado, but by what's known as a downburst. A downburst occurs when air plummets downward from the base of a cloud, often in conjunction with a downpour of rain. ITV's Charlotte Cross has the latest.
It's now 5 days since an unexpected storm struck off the coast of Sicily. CCTV caught the moment the lights of the Bayesian went out before keeling onto its right side, sinking 50 metres below the surface and killing 7 people. Among them, the yacht's chef, Ricardo Thomas. And as searches continued throughout the week, rescue teams recovered the bodies of British tech entrepreneur Mike Lynch and his 18-year-old daughter Hannah, his lawyer Chris Morvillo and his wife Nida, and guests Judy and Jonathan Bloomer. At a press conference today, officials revealed how those 6 had tried to find safety as the vessel filled with water.
The ship sank first in the stern and then lay on its right side on the seabed. It's therefore clear that the unfortunate people sought safety in the cabins on the left side, where the last air bubbles had formed.
Efforts to find out what happened and if anybody should be held culpable are now underway.
The
prosecutor's office has opened an investigation, not aimed at any individual person. The 2 potential crimes being investigated are culpable shipwreck and manslaughter. These are just the first steps of the investigation, but we're not ruling anything out.
They'll also be looking into how the 15 survivors, which included most of the crew, managed to escape the sinking yacht, as well as examining the safety equipment on board. Yesterday, the recovery operation ended and specialist investigators moved in to try to find answers on how a family cruise turned into tragedy.
South Auckland principals are urging the Ministry of Education to change its decision to downgrade their school building projects, given the area's intense growth. They've called the move short-sighted, but the ministry says projects were decided based on need. Amelia Wade has been looking into the issue for the Sunday Star Times and 3 News.
Quiet, warm and lined with books, Conifer Grove School's library is a taonga. Principal Raj Dullab really doesn't want to turn it into a classroom.
We're expected to get up to 800 to 900 students over the next 3 years.
Conifer Grove was shovel-ready on an 8-classroom building block. That's been downgraded to 6 classrooms, but in reality it's fewer than that.
What happens then is we get our 6-classroom build, but 4 of those prefabs that were temporary will move out of the school. So we really essentially only in two classrooms, which for the potential role growth is not enough.
10 minutes south, Papakura High School is already at 105% capacity. They were in the throes of designing their master plan rebuild. That's been put on hold. In the meantime, they've been given 4 Portacom classrooms.
I understand that budgets are tight, the money just isn't there. But further down the track, it's going to become a crisis unless something's done about it.
Both principals say the Ministry of Education's decision to pause their builds during its value for money review was short-sighted because South Auckland is experiencing massive growth.
I don't think there's been much foresight, looking forward and really, having the infrastructure in place. It feels like it's just catch up.
We must take those kids. We've got to put them somewhere. The spaces are just not here.
This year, 100 school build projects around the country were paused and a further 110 had changes made during the Ministry's review process, which saved it $2 billion. The Ministry told the Sunday Star-Times that growth in South Auckland had been slower than expected and projects had been prioritised based on greatest need.
Urging the government to think beyond the current cost of everything crisis.
Coming up, arrests in connection to the knife attack that killed 3 people in Germany. Islamic State has claimed responsibility. And later in sport, yet another boat is forced to retire in the America's Cup preliminary regatta. Have they become too high-tech for their own good?
So, you co-madam now?
You know it. I told you, you're blacklisted.
How about 400?
No.
6.
If you throw me that 600, we can keep it off the books.
Okay, just slow down. What?
She's been keeping all the money.
She what?
Madam, stream first on 3 Now or Thursday 8:30 on 3.
I need something different.
Like what?
Tuscan mixed grain?
Freya's variety is good. Try new Best of Both today.
Cook with the world's best brands at Harvey Norman. All your kitchen appliance needs with the latest in ovens, cooktops, range hoods, refrigeration, dishwashers, wine cabinets and more. Plus, right now, spend over $2,500 on 2 or more eligible kitchen appliances and get a bonus up to $1,000 gift card. Cook with the world's best brands at Harvey Norman and get a bonus up to $1,000 gift card. View the latest catalogue online now.
This weekend at Domino's, we're giving you more for less. For 3 big days, when you buy 1 large gourmet or traditional pizza, you'll get 1 large pizza free. That's right, buy 1, get 1 free. Pick up or delivered. Ends Sunday.
At Redco, get the gear that'll get Dad going this Father's Day. Like 50% off Castrol Magnatec 10W40 6 litre, plus this Turtle Wax Clean and Shine kit at just $35. Catalogue out now. Redco. Get you going.
Make Dad rad this Father's Day with Instant Kiwi. Get him a $5 Hilux ticket for the chance to win one of 5 Toyota Hilux GR Sport. Now that's sure to rev his engine. For grown-ups only, R18. T's and C's apply.
How was your promotion thing?
I don't know.
Well, I'm so proud of you, Dad. I got you something in the glove box. Before you ask, they didn't have fruit and nut.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
The following is based on feedback from mobile companies about real people. To protect identities, they're birds.
1 month I run out of fast data. The next I spend truckloads on data I don't use.
That's why at Kiwi Mobile you get all the fast data you need.
Oh, okay.
But only pay for what you use. A service wait times are under a minute. Because we care about you too. And your first 3 months are free so you can give it a test drive.
Better. Yeah, it is.
Kiwi Mobile.
Find all the gifts Dad will love to bits this Father's Day at the Warehouse. These shirts are his perfect match. Shop a bunch from basics to box chocks from just $8, and this on-trend bag is good to go. Grab everyday low prices on every top treat at the Warehouse.
Cash flow doesn't need to be complicated. With Xero, you can track your bank balance, bills and invoices so you can see what's coming up and make better business decisions. Just like that. Yes! Start your 30-day free trial at Xero.com. Terms apply.
Guys, say cheese.
Cheese.
Cheese. John, your eyes are closed.
Craving cheese on top and cheese below? The Hut's got you covered.
Welcome back. Gisborne police are investigating how a man died while out hunting last night. Emergency services were called to an area near Tupou Bay on the east coast not long after 10:30. They found the hunter with critical injuries and airlifted him to hospital where he died a few hours later. Police say they are speaking to a number of people. Islamic State has claimed responsibility for a stabbing attack at a festival in Germany that killed 3 people and left 4 others in critical condition. It said one of its soldiers had attacked a Christian festival to avenge Muslims in Palestine. In fact, it was a festival of diversity, celebrating the 650th anniversary of the city of Solingen. Police were today investigating at this accommodation for asylum seekers 300 metres from the public party. German media is reporting that a man was arrested there. A 15-year-old boy had earlier been arrested, accused of having prior knowledge of the attack. The slain victims were a woman and 2 men in their 50s and 60s. A man has been arrested in France after an explosion outside a synagogue injured a police officer. The French Prime Minister visited the scene of the blast, which came after 2 cars were set alight in a resort town near Montpellier. The suspect was carrying a Palestinian flag and authorities are treating it as a potential terror attack. According to French media, the suspect was shot and injured by police after he opened fire on officers when they came to his arrest. Well, time now for a look at sport with Ollie.
Welcome to a new Swift world with Suzuki and 3 News Sport.
Team New Zealand is set for a rematch of the 2021 America's Cup tomorrow, taking on Luna Rossa in the final of the preliminary regatta, but only if both teams can make it over the start line. Yet another boat was forced to retire from racing today, sparking questions about whether they're too technical for the competition's own good. Senior correspondent Lisette Raymer reports from Barcelona.
The America's Cup boats are almost aeroplanes, even spaceships in disguise. High tech and high speed.
These are extremely complicated boats.
But also extremely high stakes.
Tens of thousands of parts that go on, and any one of those can go wrong.
With the new AC-75s, it's proving to be a very fine line between flying fast or not at all.
Is it worth it?
I think you'll have to ask Mr. Dalton. That's probably a good question.
You don't think so?
I think you should ask him.
That sounds like you don't think so.
Hey, look, we love racing, so we love going out there and getting a shot.
As the clock ticks down to the main event, the preliminary regatta has been riddled with retiring boats.
USA has retired.
American Magic, the latest to suffer a mechanical failure at go time, crippled by major rudder trouble.
It was a pretty big bang, and we weren't sure if we had hit something or it was just a failure or what it was. We're still assessing the damage now and to try to figure out what happened, but quite frustrating. We've never had that issue before.
3 races, 3 different teams have been stopped short in 3 days. The Italians, the French, and now the USA.
Look, it's a tough one. If you're missing a lot of races because the boats break down, that's not good for anyone. It's not good for us. It's not good for spectators. We don't want it to be like that.
In the greater scheme of the America's Cup, the results of this preliminary regatta don't actually count for all that much. But we are now just days away from the beginning of the all-important Knockout Challenger Series. And losing a race to technical difficulties won't be as easy to brush off then.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see a few boats not making it around the racetrack. But yeah, hopefully come the round robin, everyone will be dialed in.
The Kiwis have so far avoided technical trouble with a perfect win record punctuated by a masterclass against Alingi today.
Absolutely perfect place to tack there.
They'll now meet Luna Rossa in the final.
Fingers crossed that both boats hold together and we get a good race in.
Fingers crossed for another Kiwi win.
Another solid round from Lydia Ko has kept her in contention for a maiden Women's British Open title at the iconic St Andrews Old Course. Fresh off winning Olympic gold, Ko carded a 1-under-71 to sit tied for 4th heading into the final round of the major. Ko trails outright leader South Korea's Ji-jae Shin by 3 shots.
Just because I won the gold, it doesn't really
change the perspective on how I'm going to play tomorrow. And a lot of people say, oh, you've got nothing to lose. But, while I'm competitively playing, I still want to play the best golf I can. But it's definitely nice to know that I can go back to my room, and even if I have a bad day, there's a gold medal, waiting for me and my husband. Yeah.
A win would secure Ko her first major title since 2016. Erling Haaland has continued his strong start to the Premier League season, netting a hat-trick in Manchester City's 4-1 win over Ipswich Town. Haaland added one more late in the second half to secure his 7th Premier League hat-trick. Elsewhere, Arsenal left it until late, but Tottenham Hotspur were hardly troubled against Everton, cruising to a 4-0 victory, their first of the new season. The NRL bunker is back in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons, with reports official Liam Kennedy could be stood down over the decision not to send Stephen Crichton to the bin in the Bulldogs' win over the Warriors. Crichton was put on report and later copped a Grade 2 careless high tackle charge after he collected Roger Tuivasa-Sheck with his shoulder. Tuivasa-Sheck was clearly affected by the tackle and didn't return from his HIA. A ban could rule Crichton out of the remainder of the regular season. Rising Kiwi tennis star Lulu Sun has gone down in straight sets in her maiden WTA final in Mexico. The 23-year-old put up a strong fight against world number 35 Linda Noskova, but it wasn't enough to secure her first title, going down 7-6, 6-4. The ranking points gained from reaching the final are predicted to lift her to a world ranking of 41. Sun will now make her way to the United States ahead of next week's US Open. That gets underway Tuesday, Lulu Sun, Tuesday morning-ish, 8:15. Looking forward to seeing her back in action.
Great time of day. Thank you so much, Ollie. Well, still to come, it was meant to be an 8-day mission. Now, 2 astronauts have been told they'll be stuck in space for 8 months.
There's no such thing as a silly question.
How do you spell it?
You know what they say, Guy? You spell with your heart, not your mind.
Who says that?
No one.
Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. Stream first on 3 now or Thursday at 7 on 3.
G'day, how you going?
Kia ora.
Kiwi.
We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and I don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. And we gotta go for all we know. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us. You and I.
This weekend at Domino's, we're giving you more for less. For 3 big days, when you buy 1 large gourmet or traditional pizza, you'll get 1 large pizza free. That's right, buy 1, get 1 free. Pick up or delivered. Ends Sunday.
Imagine if you could start thriving. AIA Vitality is a science-backed health and well-being program that gives you the guidance, tools, and rewards you need to thrive. So get AIA Vitality and start thriving.
Thank you, Sam.
Welcome, Wendy.
Wonderful stories enter our stores every day. Find your wonderful new world.
Grab big deals at No Leaming for Father's Day. Homedics Therapist Select Massage Gun, just $129. Sony wireless noise cancelling headphones, $495 each. Plus Samsung Galaxy S23 FE from $879 each. On now at No Leaming.
How good is a barista almond latte in the comfort of your own home? How good is that smooth and creamy taste? How good is enjoying a barista quality latte? Oh, and a fluffy, how good? So good.
Protect your car as your family grows. AMI Car Insurance Plus Roadside Rescue.
How do you save up to $25 per person on a $72 a month endless data mobile plan? Just join Spark Team Up with 3 people. Save on a range of eligible mobile plans, plus enjoy Spotify Premium discounted or on us with Spark Team Up.
Crispy, crispy, spiced up, crispy, crispy.
Hot and Spicy is back. Get it while it's hot, only at KFC.
You're watching 3 News. If you've just joined us, here are our top stories for your Sunday night. The government has backed away from giving 3 ministers the power to decide on fast-track approvals for major infrastructure projects. The tennis club where a man was killed say they've lost a beautiful soul as the hunt continues for his killer. And another boat has been forced to retire in the America's Cup preliminary regatta, sparking questions about whether the boats are too technical for the competition's own good. Time now for a look at the weather, and heavy rain warnings and watches are currently in place for parts of southern and central New Zealand. The active front is slowly heading eastwards and a warm front is spreading onto the central western parts of the country, bringing wet weather as a cold front is approaching the west of the south. Rain with heavy falls overnight, patchy rain tomorrow and gales over Fiordland. Rain overnight and tomorrow for Taranaki, the Kapiti Coast, Wellington and southern Wairarapa. Hamilton, you'll have some occasional rain in the morning and northerlies. Everywhere else, cloudy periods with isolated showers. Similar here, some rain in Tokoroa and Tupou and a chance of a shower elsewhere. Rotorua, those northwesterlies will ease in the afternoon. Mainly fine morning for Gisborne with high cloud, occasional rain elsewhere, including Gisborne in the evening. The northwesterlies will ease at night. A rainy Monday for all here, only occasional in Taumaranui and Whanganui, but possible heavy downpours for Kapiti Coast down to Wellington. To the south, and that rain will greet you in the morning here too, along with possible thunderstorms. They should ease later in the morning though. And it'll be wet here, not so much in Timaru. The rain will ease off to occasional drizzle before lunch. Afternoon easterlies for southern areas. Morning frost in Invercargill, but fine for the south. Cloudy everywhere else. Occasional drizzle for Dunedin and Oamaru. To Australia and fine in places, 24 degrees for Sydney. Thunderstorms in the Pacific for Nandi, Niue and Tongatapu. Now let's take a look at your extended forecast. Well, earlier we asked you, is an expert panel better than 3 ministers to decide fast-track approvals? And the result is fairly overwhelming. 79% of you say yes. Well, NASA says 2 astronauts that have been stuck in space for 2 months won't be brought home until February. Sunita Williams and Barry Wilmore took off on what was meant to be an 8-day mission to the International Space Station at the start of June. They'll now spend around 8 months in orbit. The Boeing Starliner they were travelling on had problems with its thrusters. It will now be brought back to Earth uncrewed, while the 2 astronauts will return on a SpaceX craft.
The decision to keep Butch and Sonny aboard the International Space Station and bring the Boeing Starliner home uncrewed is a result of a commitment to safety.
Starliner was Boeing's first attempt to at a crewed mission as part of a multi-billion-dollar deal with NASA. Rival SpaceX, which has a similar contract, has successfully sent 9 crewed flights to space. That's 3 News for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. You can get in touch with us by emailing newsroom@stuff.co.nz or head to the Stuff website. I'm Laura Tupou, Paul Marie.